Let's talk about the only tool to fight and discover stock manipulation. Hey, I'm Clay from claytrader.com, and that is a topic we are going to be talking about here because as you see on the screen here, it comes up quite a bit in not necessarily just YouTube comments, but through the customer service area at claytrader.com, and just, been around since 2013. So point being, you constantly are hearing about stock manipulation of this, and not necessarily only stock manipulation, but just manipulation of whatever people are trading, whatever people are invested in. And I want to just share with you a tool that I'm always using. And when I stop and think about it, I guess I don't realize this at the time, but subconsciously, it is exposing manipulation. It is exposing any sort of sketchy games if those games are going on. So in this video, I'm going to assume that there is manipulation going on. I'm going to assume that there is some sort of sketchy, things playing out. But I mean, let's be real. In most situations, there is no manipulation, okay? It's just the markets being the markets. But again, I'll assume that there is manipulation because as this person says and questions, hey, Clay, don't you think about manipulations? And no, I don't. But like I said, subconsciously, I guess I am thinking about manipulations if they're occurring because, like I said, this tool that I'm using is discovering them, is pointing them out to me, and is allowing me to actually fight against the manipulation, without me even really actually thinking about it. So do I consciously think about manipulation? No. Am I, because of this tool, I guess subconsciously maybe thinking about or considering manipulations? Yeah, I suppose I am. But again, that's the great part about this tool is how it allows you to fight back against any manipulation. And then, here's just another example of somebody accusing manipulation out there. And then, they lost so much money on it because of it. That's a whole nother video. I would encourage you, Alan, what? Are you sure it was manipulation or did you maybe just have a bad trade plan? And it's okay. We all have bad trade plans every now and then. But at least if you blame the person in the mirror, that means you're also the solution to the problem. Whereas if you truly do believe that it's just manipulation, well, that's actually a very scary situation to be in because now, so you're just at the whim of the markets. That means you don't actually have any control over anything. You do have control over your trade plan. So I'd say, why don't you blame your trade plan on why you lost money, not necessarily that there is manipulation out there. But like I said, so that's kind of setting up the context there that there's enough manipulation talk, as we'll call it, to in my mind, at least justify a video. But I want to show you this tool and I want to show you how it works and how, whether subconsciously or consciously, it can expose, it can help you discover manipulation, but most importantly, it can help you fight it. So what is the tool? Technical charts. Or candlestick analysis if you want to be a little bit more specific. But as a whole, technical charts. Hopefully you've heard of them. If you haven't, I'd encourage you to learn more about them. I'd encourage you to learn more about candlesticks. But it's nothing fancy. It's nothing complicated. Maybe you're saying, well, Clay, I thought you were going to have some sort of awesome tool. What do you mean it's just charts? But that's the point, is something as simple as just charts. Something as anticlimactic as, just technical analysis. But that's all you need. Because let's think about it. At the core, what does technical analysis care about? Price action and volume. And let me ask this. Can a manipulator, if they are manipulating the price, hide from something that just cares about price? No. By definition, it can't. Now, can a manipulator cook the books? Let's do this with the cash flow statement. Let's do that with the income statement. Let's do this, that, and the other with the balance sheet. Well, yeah, of course. You can manipulate the books. Hence the phrase, cook the books. But can you actually hide a price manipulation as far as the stock is concerned or as far as whatever asset you're trading, whether it be crypto, options, forex, futures? No, you can't. So for example, let's just make up a little situation as we're looking at this chart. Let's say that there's manipulation going on and that these manipulators are preventing the price from going up. For whatever reason, they don't want the price to go up. Can you spot the manipulation is my question. I'll give you a moment to pause the video if you want. But can you spot maybe a couple of areas where you're like, oh, yeah, I see where those manipulators are acting. I see where they're preventing the price from going up. So like I said, I'll give you a couple moments to pause if you want. All right, so if you did pause, the first level here is, well, check out this. Again, I'm not saying at all this what was going on. But look at this manipulation point right there. Can you see how the price got up to 330? Well, let's see. Once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times. 6 times the price got up to 330 and the manipulators would not let it get through. Now, did you see kind of the part? again, let's say you didn't know that let's say you did not know that there was manipulation going on, but there was. Would you be shocked to find out that the manipulation, the game being played, was not letting the price get up through 330? You'd be like, oh no, okay, I guess that makes sense and why the price wouldn't get up through there. But as far as, was I unaware of this manipulation? No, you weren't aware. You were aware that 330 was presenting a problem. Now, you didn't know that the problem was manipulation, but you did know that there was a problem at 330 because of, well, the technical chart exposed it as what is known as a resistance level. So do you see how we discover the manipulation and we can fight back against the manipulation in the sense of, well, I'm not going to buy until I see that the price no longer has problems with $330. Because at that point, in trading jargon, that would be a breakout. But what you could be saying when you're saying you're waiting for a breakout is, well, let's just wait for those manipulators to be done doing that manipulation game at 330, right? That's not how you're going to really say it. But if you do want to argue that there's manipulation out there, okay, well, then you better be using a chart so you can see what that manipulation actually is. But maybe some of you are like, no, Clay, that's not even the point I noticed. I noticed another point of manipulation right here, and you're not wrong at all, right there at 328. I mean, let's go through this. Once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, 7 times, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 times. So once again, would you look there and be like, oh, look at that manipulation at 328? Maybe. But to be fair, you don't know that there's manipulation at 328. Maybe there's just a bunch of people that want to sell for some random reason. So again, a technical chart is not going to tell you if it's manipulation. It's just going to tell you, hey, what the manipulators are doing if the manipulators are there. So for me, and to be fair, I sit here and say, I'm not saying that manipulation was occurring, but maybe there was. Maybe this was being manipulated. But it's very clear to see, okay, the manipulation was clearly not letting this thing get any sort of wiggle room up above 328, right? So that's how a chart works. That's how and why when people say, Clay, are you ever worried about manipulation? Do you ever think about it? I don't, because it's going to show up in the chart. And as we have a couple of just basic examples of that right here. But again, as far as fighting back against manipulation, well, one way to fight it back, like I said earlier, was, well, let's make sure, and let's use this 328 example. I mean, it's hit there 14 times. I don't want to be buying something that's being manipulated. I want to be buying something where if they're not going to even let it get above, they being the manipulators, I'm not going to buy if they're not going to let it pass 228. Because if that's the game, which the chart is exposing, how do I fight back against that? Well, let's just wait until the game's over. How do you wait until the game's over? How do you have a sneaky suspicion that the game's over? Well, if the price all of a sudden goes up above 228, right? Because if the accusation is they aren't letting it above 328, and then all of a sudden it goes above 328, it would be valid for you to say, well, therefore, the game is finally over. The manipulation is finally over. So right here, you can see that next candle. Check that out. Price breaks 328 and shoots up immediately up over $1. So yeah, maybe there was something going on there. I don't know. I don't care. All I know is that I remember specifically, and this is where I actually got this example, a bunch of people in the chat room, my chat room community that I offer at claytrader.com, quick plug for it, check it out. But they were all talking about, wow, 328, wow, 328. Now, I don't think anybody was like, oh, look at that manipulation. I think they were just all talking about, man, 328 is being stubborn. Be watching it for the breakout. And I specifically remember watching it break through there. I know members did very well on it because you can see there when they waited for the manipulation to be done, quote unquote, big movement there, and then that movement continued on up. And then wouldn't you notice, look right where it got rejected again, at 330, our other manipulation point. But just to speed things up, you can see, look at that. Again, manipulation. Now, was it? I don't know. But if you want to say that it was, well, look, you're aware of it. It's not like you're not aware of the manipulations. It's not like you are looking at a financial statement and you're saying, well, I think that's the truth because that's what's right there. No, we're looking at what ultimately matters the most, the actual price of the asset, which is, again, is what makes technical charts so powerful. But again, you can see right there, and once more. So another 4 times, it stops at 330. Craziness, and then you can see right there, kaboom, there it goes. And from that point, it went back down there, tested it a couple times. So now maybe the manipulation is, well, maybe those people that were not letting it above 330, now they're not letting it below because look at that. 2 times right there, the price tried to break down below. Maybe the manipulation now is, hey, we're not letting it go below 330. Maybe. I don't. A technical chart's not going to tell you if it is, but, and I know I keep repeating myself, but I want you to understand that that's why I believe everybody should learn technical charts, especially if you're worried, especially if you're always blaming manipulation. Well, if you're blaming manipulation, let's figure out what that manipulation is so that you can know how to behave relative to it. And then you can see ultimately the price did pull back here. But the point here being is, I mean, amazing how price broke out from 328, went back up to that area, found some resistance, and then got up through there. So whether those are manipulation points or whether they aren't, you were well aware of them. You would have been maybe calling them something different, such as a resistance. But if you want to call them manipulation points, I mean, whatever floats your boat, whatever's going to make stuff make the most sense in your mind, I'm all for it. But as far as, like I said, the tool, and really the only tool if you're worried about manipulation is, well, you got to look at what the price is doing. So yeah, the only tool that I'll fight and discovered, and then also, fight back against it is going to be those technical charts. So hopefully this helps. Hopefully this can maybe give you a little bit of, peace of mind that there is a solution to your manipulation problems if you think those are existing out there. And you can learn more about this tool because I love my technical charts. I'm a technical trader, and this is, I guess I can't say a reason I use technical charts is because I'm scared of manipulation, but I do use them because in the back of my mind, okay, if there is manipulation, I'm going to be aware of it because a manipulator can't hide from the chart itself. So just keep that in mind moving forward. Before I go though, final few things. If you enjoy these videos, couple quick requests to communicate to me that you do enjoy these and would like me to make more. Hit that like button, leave a comment down below, even if it's just a basic thumbs up emoji. Little things like that go a long way. And then also check out the channel as a whole. Lots of different videos out there, and hopefully you like what you see enough to hit that subscribe button. Yeah, no longer do you need to be afraid of manipulation. Go out there, learn all about technical charts. First off, thanks so much for watching the entire video. Real quick, before you go, I want to invite you to a live webinar, web class, training, workshop, online event, whatever you want to call it, but it will be me live revealing to you what I've discovered that has allowed me to transform myself from being an employee to being my own boss, including how I had only one losing day out of 73 days in total. I'm going to cover 3 keys that have helped me unlock profitable consistency within the markets. The first key is super weird, but in a productive type of way. The second key is super awesome because it quite literally is wired into our DNA as humans, making it very easy to use. But in a cruel way, this becomes a pitfall for many traders. I'll explain it all though, including how to avoid the pitfall that it creates for some. And yeah, the third key, when you hear it, sounds way too good to be true, but it's not, and I'll show you how it all works. Then at the end, I open it up for a question and answer session that is, again, totally live. Even if you can't make the live session, please still sign up as it will be recorded, and you can go back and watch the replay that I will send you. Click the image on the screen or click the link down in the description box so you can get the date and time and claim your spot, which I should note is limited due to the fact that this truly is a live event. If you have any questions, let me know. If not, I'll be seeing you soon.